Welcome back to more adventures with the Florida Powerboat Club. This is Stu Jones, and guys, you are going to enjoy this episode because we have continuing coverage of the Orange Beach Powerboat Week event 2021 edition, which included hundreds of miles of beautiful waterways all the way from the Florida Panhandle, Navarre Beach area, and all the way westbound to Mobile Bay, and we've got it all right here on this upcoming episode. So before we get started, let's thank our sponsors. Florida Powerboat Club's 2021 series sponsors include Blackwater Boats and their sister company, Deep Impact Boats, along with their exclusive worldwide dealer, Plantation Boat Mart. Midnight Express Powerboats, Mercury Racing Wide Open, Mystic Powerboats, Myco Custom Trailers, Nortec High Performance Boats, Performance Boat Center, and our official prize sponsor, Superior Communications, providing us with Garmin and Icon products as prizes for our poker run events. And a quick sneak peek here at the artwork for the event. It kind of gives away the story that we are at this landmark Wharf location with that Ferris wheel in the background. That's the actual Ferris wheel that is on property. And in addition to all of those series sponsor logos that we pointed out earlier, we'd also like to introduce Allocomp Insurance, who has returned once again as a sponsor for Orange Beach for their second year in a row. And for this episode, we are going to follow that similar format that everyone seems to love, a mixture of some bikinis and some offshore running, and of course a lot of fun at the checkpoints. When we left off on our last episode, we had just wrapped up a beautiful lunch stop at Juana's Pagodas in Navarre Beach, a place that we all have come to love, and the teams were getting ready for that Friday afternoon run back to Alabama. So we're going to take the same format and head straight to the Port Entertainment Complex right here at the Wharf, and that is where we had all of our parties. But the one that we all seem to remember the most was that Miss Powerboat Week contest on Thursday night. And here's some nice shots of everybody just hanging out in the chill mode. And what I love about the port is all these TVs that are dangling from the ceiling, allowing us to play all of our powerboat videos. Lots of seating for everybody, whether you want to have your own table, whether you want to hang out at the bar, or whether you want to be on front row as one of the judges for the Miss Powerboat Week contest, because they have a fantastic stage. We had our own DJ playing music. And guys, this was just such a great way to kick off the event. Paul Bertucci was our sponsor of this event, and it was arranged by our lovely Amber Content, who pulled all of these lovely ladies from the local area as far away as Biloxi, Mississippi. But it's all about the girls right now, and this is the first time for Candace, lovely lady that we are seeing for the very first time, joining us here at this Powerboat Week contest. And we hope that we're going to see Candace a lot more in the future. She absolutely loves boating, and she was one of the poker card girls on both Friday morning and on Saturday morning, handing off those lucky cards to all of our teams. And you'll notice that there's a format to the ladies coming out right now as we see Emily in her black bikini. And if that's what you want to call it, it's kind of a neat little outfit, isn't it? And yeah, she knows it too. And our judges are sitting right here. You guys are actually sitting watching this camera angle from the same location the judges are sitting. So you guys are actually becoming the judges yourself. And there's no charge for that. But what I was going to say earlier is that all of the judges paid $100 each so that they could be up on the front row and judge these ladies. And it wasn't all guys, by the way. We had some ladies judging as well. All that money goes to our charity, which is feeding the Gulf Coast, along with some other money that we raise through the parties. And I think that is a great outcome. And it says a lot about the generosity of our Powerboat Club members and sponsors, because there's nothing better than having fun and then leaving some money in town. And Chloe says that is just a great idea, Stu. She seems to like it. Another one of our new FPC girls who absolutely loves riding on the powerboats, and she stayed with us for the entire weekend, and I think she rode around on Team Bent Marine. That was the Nortec 452 Superfish with Captain Robert at the helm. And, to be able to have these ladies here in the contest, and you can tell how much fun they're having, especially Chloe. She looks like she's just on fire right now, having so much fun. But that's how she is all the time. And that's what I love about some of these lovely ladies that Amber recruits, because they're not just models walking around on the stage. They're fun girls that love to go boating. And in fact, earlier in the day, during the poker run check-in, a lot of the ladies were here at the port. We had a special room off to the side where all of the captains were able to check in and get their goodie bags and make sure all their T-shirts and all their numbers for their decals for their boats and everything were in place. And the girls were in charge of all that. So If you send your younger, teenage boys down to pick up your goodie bag, they might not come back for an hour or two. And I happened to notice that this is the lovely Faith, who was unable to stick around and hang out with us for the weekend, but we did meet her the year earlier. She attended the Emerald Coast Poker Run, and she was one of our FPC girls for the weekend. And I'm quite certain that she later made it onto the pages of the Florida Powerboat Club's wall calendar, the 2021 edition of the FPC calendar. I'm probably wrong about that, but I know you guys will correct me. So that's your mission, guys. Was she in the 2020 or was she in the 2021 FPC wall calendar? So feel free to share your comments. And as the lovely Abby walks out onto our stage, that subject about comments. Well, first of all, thank you to all of you out there in our viewing audience around the world, because we know who you are, because there's 35,000 of you now, and I just love all the comments. I don't really have the time to reply to all of them because there's so many, but everybody has been so kind on this channel, and we have such a really strong viewing audience that really loves these shows and watches them, through the entire show and listens to my narration and comments. So thank you guys, because you guys are really, what to me anyway, you're making it worth our while, because obviously we don't make a lot of money by putting these episodes on YouTube. It's not about the money, it's about the lifestyle, and it's about the message we want to send out about the Florida Powerboat Club, and about how much fun we have, and about how many great people that surround us. So tonight is kind of a celebration of that, because there's every once in a while you see on Instagram and on some of the social media pages, there's sometimes some not very nice things being said about some of the ladies in bikinis that are out there strutting their stuff. And honestly, guys, give us a break. I mean, these lovely gals, many of them are students, some of them are mothers. They're all working hard, and they're all very pleased to come out and very proud of their bodies and what they've accomplished to be in such great shape. Let's give them some credit. It's tough to get in a bikini and walk out there on the stage in front of 200 people, but they're doing it, and they're enjoying it, and then they're sticking around and hanging out with all you guys. So look, I got to give them credit, and I hope that the comments will go in that way and support me in my comments about that, because there's just too much muckraking going on out there in social media. It's time to stop it, and it's time to be nice and thank the girls for being a part of our event. And it's segue now to the next morning, as we kicked off the Friday morning fun run, getting our first poker card here at the residence of Mr. Art Favre, who is the owner of the Wharf, and he's really one of the two reasons that we're here. The other reason being, of course, his son Scott. And between the two of them, Art and Scott are really, the reason that we're back here, because they have gotten behind this event, and they've literally gave us the keys to the Wharf so that we could have an event. Cass Schubert here from Texas in his 44 Outer Limits, his first time here at this event in the Wharf, and he absolutely loved it. And I know for sure that he'll be back again for our 2022 edition here of the Orange Beach Powerboat Week. And it's fun to see this team back. Lance Panapinto Sr. and his wife Paula, longtime supporters of the Florida Powerboat Club and attendees at these events in the Florida Panhandle. In particular, we met them at the Emerald Coast Poker Run more than a decade ago. They've been attending with this 30-foot Baja team flying high, powered by twin 496 HOs. What do they love about powerboating? They say it's relaxing, and we enjoy being on the water. And what was it they liked about being at the Wharf? Well, they loved the parties, not having to drive anywhere, being able to just walk from their condo over to the parties. And I agree, guys, that is a big bonus here to being at the Wharf and having all of our parties at the port. And it's time to visit with Rip and Nikki Tomlinson, all the way from Illinois, their first event with the club. This is a 34-foot Doug Wright Cat 07 edition, Twin Mercury Racing 525s. And a long ways from home, 630 miles trailered one way to join us here at the Wharf. And what did they like about the venue? They said it was a good time, and it was the most organized poker run that they had ever been on. Well, thanks, guys. It was great having you. Well, we saw Lance Sr. just a minute ago. Now it's time for Lance Jr. in his 24-foot Baja, all the way from Louisiana. and certainly not his first rodeo. He's been on a lot of events before. Take note, guys, a 24-foot Baja with a single 454, and here he is on the run, running alongside with like 48-foot MTIs and 40-foot skaters. And he's like, hey, guys, I don't care. I'm here to have fun. Well, man, I tell you what, that is fantastic. Lance Jr., watched him grow up since he was about 3 years old, so great seeing him driving his own boat now. And time to catch up with Alan Canales and Cheryl Music now. They came all the way from Texas, 700 miles one way, trailering this 2007 41-foot Velocity. Got some big power, 565 cubic inch, supercharged and fuel injected, 1,000 horsepower aside. And, of course, you need a good drive behind that kind of power, so he's running the IMCO SCX4 drive. So real hardcore boaters, and they're very active with the Lake Travis Powerboat Association back in Texas. And how do I know that? Well, because they gave me a Lake Travis Powerboat Club shirt. Thanks, guys. And to most of us, it's Chris Villar, the Nortec owner who loves to have fun. And to all of his working colleagues, he's Dr. Villar because he's a surgeon back in Pensacola. But on the weekends, it's all about this 39-foot Nortec and having a wonderful and fun crew on board, as they always do. They're not very far from home, you know. Pensacola is just a stone throw away. In fact, Chris is going to pass his own doorstep like twice today. Once as we head eastbound to Navarre, and once again as we turn around and head back to Orange Beach. Right, ladies? Yes, look at that. You go, girls. And let's now pay a very special welcome to Steve and Lynette Turner from Texas in this very special 38-foot Top Gun. Let me explain why. It's Miami two-step. It's the first recreational version of the 38-foot Top Gun, a twin-step that was made back in the year 2000. In fact, the production of this boat overlapped with the production of my very own 2000 Top Gun, which was a straight-bottom boat. But this boat has been in the club since brand new, through several owners, of course, but the very first owner who built it was Chet Huffman, who sadly just died recently in California. So, Steve and Lynette, you can drive that boat proudly and remember our fellow member Chet, who was a very enthusiastic powerboater for all the years that I knew him. And it looks like another big Nortec pulling up to the dock. Yes, it's Greg Bent from Team Bent Marine. And Sengo is the name of the boat. That's a nickname for Robert Sengelman, the owner. Nortec 452 Superfish Quad Mercury Racing 450s, and it's loaded with cargo today. The FPC girls riding along while the other FPC girls hand off the poker card. And I think by now, guys, now that you see the girls in action down here on the dock, I mean, it's fair to say that they have really let their hair down today, and a little different from the previous night when they were walking around on the stage in front of a couple of hundred people. Now they're down on the dock and having fun with all the boaters, and I think that's the side of the FPC girls that we all enjoy seeing and having fun. So as they hand off to Kelly Moreno, Stephen and Kelly, our sponsors from Alacomp Insurance, enjoying their brand new Nortec 390 Sport. They just took delivery of the boat. I'd say it was 2 weeks earlier. They went to Cape Coral and on the Nortec Owners Rally. We were all there, and that's when they took delivery of the boat, and here they are 2 weeks later in Orange Beach. And it is the lovely Miss T who's going to be our bow bunny of the day on Beer Money, Paul Bertucci's 39-foot Deep Impact. Hey, T. Gotta love this couple. Been hanging out with them for a very, very long time. And thanks to Paul for his continued support with the club and for sponsoring Miss Powerboat Week. And just a few hundred yards from this card checkpoint is the Perdido Pass. And that is exactly where we're going to pass to the Gulf side today and get some offshore running along the coastal waters, heading eastbound, about 18 to 20 miles to Pensacola. And that's an appropriate segue to this boat, Chris Villars, who is from Pensacola, who's going to pass his front doorstep today. Got some nice shots of the boat, really, this 39 Nortec with triple Mercury Racing 450s. This was just at a time when he was getting the boat throttled up. And once he got it going, and it was a little bumpy out here, he did manage to get some good air shots of this 390 Sport, and it was one of those money shots that landed him on the page of the 2022 FPC wall calendar. I believe it was April, and there's the shot there. So congratulations, Chris. Nice job. And here's a boat that I'm coming to love very quickly. Jeff Tremble from Texas in his 32-foot skater team Maverick. I just love the look of the boat. I love the paint and graphics, and obviously it's an old school skater that he's done a lot with. I don't know if he did the work personally or if he bought it like this, but it does have some big power. Sterling 1080s times 2, that's right, 2160 is the horsepower. Now I got to stop and think about that for just a second. 1,080 horsepower, one engine. That's the total of both of my engines in my 38-foot cigarette. And this is a 32-foot cat, so I can just imagine with this thing all wound out in the right conditions, it must be one fast boat. Nice to see, though, that he's being safe and just taking it easy through these choppy waters. And now a chance to catch up with the Marinos doing a little more speed. Team Calm Down, Stephen and Kelly Marino, sponsors from Alicomp Insurance, who have participated in this event before. They were here on the first one 2 years ago. But the real storyline here is this brand new Nortec 390. They, of course, also have a 35 DCB cat with big power. But they are a family now, and I think this Nortec is going to suit them just fine. Triple Mercury Racing 450s, and they are doing a lot of poker runs in this boat. And spending a little time now with this Performance Boat Center 32 Sensation, belonging to Scott Favre from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Of course, our event co-host here today. Of course, he is riding on his very own MTI. It's a 44 model. And I guess I got to draw the lucky straw because I was one of the guys lined up on the dock who were willing to take the boat and run our fire safety medics with us today. And I pulled the lucky straw. So yes, indeed, that is me driving Scott's 32 Sensation. And those young hunky guys in the back seat, girls, well, those are Orange Beach fire paramedics. And they are very fit, and they have a lot of really top quality gear in case they need to go to work. But right now, they're just enjoying the ride. And very, very close to home for Paul Bertucci and his first mate T, because they're from Biloxi, Mississippi, only about maybe an hour away to the west. And they're just enjoying the ride as they always do. Never going to see Paul as a front runner in this 39-foot deep impact quad, the 350 Mercury Verados, the ideal power package. So great looking boat. Thank you to Paul. Thanks to our sponsor, Deep Impact Custom Boats. Now you'll notice the significance of this color change of the water. Well, that is what happens when you travel from the Gulf waters back into the intracoastal. Jeff Tremble now, as I said earlier, getting a chance to put the sticks down and really run this 32-foot skater. We know it's capable of some very fast speeds, but he's enjoying the calmer waters now on the intracoastal side as he heads eastbound towards Juanas for lunch. And here, of course, is a very familiar sight for many of us. This is our lunch stop, Juanas Pagodas in Navarre Beach, Florida. So we have traveled all the way from Orange Beach now to Florida. It's been about a 60-mile ride, but we're not going to hang around today. We had a lunch segment in our previous episode, so let's just enjoy these few shots. What we're going to do is get back on the waterways immediately as the helicopter flies over the boats, heading back westbound towards Orange Beach, Alabama. And we've got our funky GoPro 360 camera now mounted on the tail section of this R44 helicopter, so we're going to get some really cool shots as we curve the earth and now close in on Bubba and Brittany Crisco in their Airship 330, which was their second choice to their skater, which they decided to leave at home on the trailer. But the Airship is fun to ride, and it's cheap on gas. And it looks like we're catching up on another one of our cat teams. This is the 34 Doug Wright. That's right, it's Rip and Nikki Tomlinson, RNR as they call themselves. Team is called Just All Right. That's right with a W. So I'd like to mention there's a very special date today. Rip Jr., that is Ripley Jr., is actually, it's his birthday today, and he's driving the boat. So happy birthday, Rip. I don't know how old you are, but you sure are having a great birthday present. And some of you guys are looking down and saying, well, wait a minute, this is a 34 and it doesn't have outboards. Well, a little bit of trivia, guys, for the Doug Wright guys. This is a 2007 model. It's the very first stern drive 34 built by Doug Wright. And some nice scenic shots from our GoPro 360 cam looking down here, Pensacola Beach Road. That is the skyway that takes you from Gulf Breeze over to Pensacola Beach. And of course now, if you consider the direction now, we're heading now westbound, so that'll be the Gulf Coast over to the left and the mainland over to the right. I'm getting freaking dizzy here, guys. Hold on. Okay, that's better. And it is another team from Texas, Clark Beecher, who has been a long time around this sport. He's been in the Florida Powerboat Club as far back as, I'm guessing 15 years. Clark, what do you think? Has it been that long? Steel in Time is his 39-foot Nortec, and I think he stole that name from his previous boat, which was an Active Thunder, and it was called Steel in Thunder. Okay, just giving you some amazing effects from that camera as we now catch up with Mikey Boyle and his first mate, Kelsey. Well, we're not actually catching up with them. We're struggling just to come up alongside. This 34 Polini Cat is powered by Twin Mercury 400Rs. It's a fast boat, and he loves driving it fast. And just so happens he's got perfect conditions right now for cranking it up and just locking in it at about 100 and letting her rip. So nothing better than enjoying the performance of your boat, and certainly a safe and a great place to do it because not a lot of other boat traffic around. So I think that today's course choice has been just ideal for so many of our participants, especially those with the outboard cats. And now it looks like, speaking of that, this is J.R. Adden in his 36-foot Doug Wright cat, Twin Mercury Racing 450s, getting a lot of use out of this boat, really becoming a hardcore poker run team. I think he's already on his third or fourth event in a row. He's been just driving all over the state of Florida to get in on our events and have fun, and he's always got a fun team on board, and I'm so happy to see JR in the club. I just wish he had joined the club a little sooner because it's fun having guys like him around. And it's time for a little bit more center console love. Looks like Ricardo Chavez from Orange Beach, Alabama, one of our local teams, and Ricardo's first mate, Kelsey, on board, the same name as Mikey Boyle's first mate, Kelsey, who we saw just a couple of boats earlier. And you can see that this is just a beautiful part of Florida, and staying on the inside has given everyone an opportunity to see someplace they probably wouldn't otherwise see. But this is a critical time when everybody needs to kind of get in single file as we just kind of fly over Brandon Mayer in his 40-foot Mystic. But looking back, so this is called Sand Island to the left. Imagine where they got that name from. But it's an area that's very, very crowded and congested on the weekends. So the fact that it's Friday afternoon has kind of been good for us in this sense that there hasn't been a lot of traffic going through here because you really have to be on your game. Very, very narrow channel. You can see all the shoals off to both sides. You get off course and you're going to run aground. And a guy who would know that would be Chris right there in his Nortec. And I'm thinking he's probably a good guy to follow when you go through these waterways. And continuing westbound through this scenic area, and notice the long docks that these folks have to have because of the shallow water in this area. So looks to me like that is one big 48-foot MTI. I'm guessing it's probably Lane Christensen from Texas in Team Fast Lane. It's powered by Mercury Racing 1350s, and sadly he's not going to be able to enjoy the performance of his boat for much longer because we're headed to Pirates Cove, where we stopped for another checkpoint. When we pulled the Sensation off plane and Scott Favre was able to catch up to us in his 44 MTI, I had to give him, a little advantage. I promised the medics on board that we'd get a closer look at Scott's crew, so it all worked out perfect. The Orange Beach Powerboat Week has brought us to Orange Beach, Alabama, where we have just done the Friday Fun Run and wrapping things up here. Not quite, but late in the afternoon, a nice stop here at the world-famous Pirates Cove. What makes this place famous? Well, I think it's the possibility that Jimmy Buffett maybe wrote a couple of songs here, but I think it's the Bushwhacker that made this place famous. Seems to be their most popular drink. Everybody's walking around with one. But really, it's a good family place. Bring the boat up on the sand. Dogs are free to roam. Kids are free to roam. Even grown-ups are free to roam, and that can be dangerous at times. But just wrapping up a beautiful Friday afternoon. A good run today all the way eastbound to Navarre. Who'd have thought we'd go all the way to Juanas for lunch? Fabulous job there they did for us with the lunch. Everyone seemed to love it. Back in on the inside was a little bit bumpy in the Gulf today. Nice to stay on the inside waters coming back. Everyone seems to be having a great time. Only about 5 miles left to go to the Wharf. Nobody's in a real big hurry. It's only Friday night. We still got a weekend ahead of us. Enjoying our time with friends here with the Florida Powerboat Club on the Orange Beach Powerboat Week event. And one thing I have to mention about Pirates Cove is they just have a ton of docking. Of course, you need to have your fenders and lines ready. You can see that the piers don't really have any fendering on them, but they are easy to get to, and there's enough docking here to probably put 50 or 60 boats in. But some of us who are a little more adventurous, you go around the backside and you can beach your boat in the soft sand. So either way, it's just a great place to stop over, and it's got that rustic vibe that might want to make you feel like you're in the Florida Keys, and that's probably one of the reasons why it's a big attraction with boaters. And special thanks to my Orange Beach fire rescue paramedics who rode along today. They did not have to save anybody on the water, and they were eye candy for some of the ladies on the run. So you've got to admit that Pirates Cove is just a must-see and a must-do place if you come here to go boating. You can see why it's so popular with the boaters. I'm glad that we stopped over here, and everyone seemed to love it. And just a short ride back to the wharf, probably 5 or so miles along these protected waters. There's Chris and Beth Giroux in their 38-foot fountain pulling away from the dock. We saw a little bit more of this boat in the earlier episode. I think it was episode 2 when we went offshore. But nice to see them back. They're locals here to the area. This one's powered by Mercury Racing 700s. And it looks like our camera is now on board with Paul Bertucci on Team Beer Money. Deep Impact 399 Sport model. Plenty of room for all your friends, and it looks like Paul recruited a couple of our FPC girls, and I think that was Miss Jackie riding along. And there is an idle speed zone as you arrive here at the wharf. Makes sense that we have that because they've got a big marina, floating dock marina. There's the luxury condos off to the left side, and there's that big bridge that travels right through the wharf property. You can see that it's a huge place, and I'm glad our helicopter crew got some of these aerials because that's their water park. You do have to be, I believe, a guest here or a resident here at the wharf to be able to use the water park. But little things like having their own helipad here on property and having, acres and acres of parking. These are just some of the features that make this such a great location for powerboaters who are coming in for a weekend. And fast forward just a couple of hours, and the entertainment is going to continue, and that brings us back again to the port for another big party. This time it's the sponsor appreciation party for Friday night, and really just a wrap-up party to celebrate what a fantastic day of boating as the lovely Candace and Lexi reappear, and a great opportunity to thank all of our sponsors. There's Miss Jackie with Team Bent Marine, and Jeff Tomlinson from Nortec was able to fly up and join us for the weekend. So we dedicated the entire evening to thanking all of our sponsors for supporting us here at the Orange Beach Powerboat Week presented by the Wharf. Well, guys, we are approaching the half-hour mark here for this third episode and a presentation of the Orange Beach Powerboat Week. So we are going to sign off now, and we promise you some exciting footage from our Saturday run, which heads westbound along the Intracoastal Waterway to Mobile Bay. Some of us stopped by Dolphin Island, and the rest of us went out into the Gulf Coast waters for another exciting offshore ride. Needless to say, we've got plenty more boats, big horsepower, and bikinis in our next episode, and you guys can't afford to miss it. So be sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you get updates every time a new episode is released. Be sure to check out the website at flpowerboat.com for all of the details about upcoming poker run events in 2021, as well as membership information. You can follow us on Facebook at Florida Powerboat Club, and you can follow us on Twitter and on these Instagram pages. Thanks to all of our viewers for your wonderful comments on our page, and you guys know who you are, and I really do appreciate that. But if you have questions or comments you want to direct to me specifically, please use my personal email at stu@flpowerboat.com. I check that daily, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. We have got a fantastic year planned for 2021 with members of the Florida Powerboat Club, so stay with us. Meanwhile, we're going to sign off for now. This is Stu Jones along with our producer Ryan McCoy in the Pompano Beach studio. Have fun out there, guys. Be safe on the waterways. Wear your life jackets when the time is right, and always respect your fellow boaters. Bye for now.